Yes!
Where's my money? And my cola? Hello, police? Somebody just broke into the pool house and stole my money and cola. I've arrived at the scene. Suspect has been spotted. Stop right there! Stop right there! I wasn't gonna go this far. But you leave me no choice! Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Mr. Gideon, you're charged with felony breaking and entering. Do you have legal representation?
No, Your Honor, I'm poor. I can't afford an attorney.
In this court in Florida, attorneys are only appointed to capital cases. You are not entitled to representation appointed by the state. You'll have to represent yourself.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty as charged.
Clarence Earl Gideon, you are hereby convicted of felony breaking and entering. You are sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Poor Gideon. No lawyer, no chance, and now 5 years in prison. But don't feel too bad just yet. This story isn't over. In prison, Gideon does something that will change history. Here's Gideon sitting in prison, writing a handwritten petition to the Supreme Court.
They can lock me up, but they can't get rid of my rights.
The Supreme Court came to a unanimous decision in the landmark case Gideon versus Wainwright.
We hold that the right to counsel is a fundamental right essential to a fair trial and therefore must be applied to the states through the 14th Amendment. The precedent set by Betts v. Brady is hereby overturned.
The justices agreed that the Sixth Amendment, which guarantees the right to legal counsel in federal cases, extends to state courts.
This court unanimously rules in favor of Clarence Earl Gideon. The judgment of the lower court is reversed and the case is remanded for further proceedings consistent with this opinion.
This decision not only granted Gideon a new trial with a court-appointed attorney, but also cemented the right to legal representation as a fundamental aspect of due process across the United States. Gideon v. Wainwright revolutionized the legal system, leading to the establishment of public defender offices nationwide, ensuring fair trials for all regardless of financial status. And now, we've reached the pinnacle of the case, the Supreme Court. Here's where things get interesting. The central issue in Gideon v. Wainwright was the Sixth Amendment, which guarantees the right to counsel for those accused of crimes. But did this apply to state courts? Before this ruling, states like Florida didn't provide court-appointed lawyers for those facing felony charges, unless it was a death penalty case. The court now had to decide, does the Sixth Amendment's rights to counsel in criminal cases apply to defendants in state courts even if they cannot afford an attorney?
Gideon argued that the Sixth Amendment should guarantee counsel for all defendants regardless of whether they're rich or poor. Without a lawyer, he was unable to mount a proper defense. Ultimately, this was about the fairness of the entire criminal justice system. After deliberation, the Supreme Court delivered its decision in favor of Gideon. In a unanimous ruling, the court concluded that the Sixth Amendment's right to counsel is essential to a fair trial. The justices held that it applies to all states through the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause. Justice Hugo Black emphasized that a fair justice system requires that every defendant, regardless of financial status, has access to legal representation. This ruling overturned Betts v. Brady, which had previously allowed states to deny counsel in non-capital cases. The court recognized that without legal counsel, a defendant's right to a fair trial was compromised. This landmark ruling emphasized two critical aspects of due process: procedural and substantive. Procedural due process requires that the government follows fair procedures like providing notice, a fair trial, and an opportunity to be heard. By denying Gideon the assistance of a lawyer, the state failed to meet this standard, making this trial inherently unfair. Substantive due process protects fundamental rights such as privacy, free speech, and in this case, the right to legal counsel. The court affirmed that the right to counsel is essential to justice, and denying it infringes on basic protection. This decision in Gideon v. Wainwright had far-reaching effects. It not only ensured that defendants in all felony cases were guaranteed the right to counsel, but it also inspired criminal justice reform movements and acts. This case ensured that wealth would no longer be a barrier to entry. Public defenders are now a critical part of the justice system, ensuring that everyone has access to a fair trial regardless of financial situation.
Go into the pool, girl. I hope that wind blows you in to the deep end.
Wait, you need to be more angry.
They can lock me up. Stop!